This 10-day trend takes us to the middle of autumn and takes us there in a reasonably energetic manner. Let's start with a look at the jet stream, that fast-moving ribbon of air high up in the atmosphere that tends to get energized at this time of year, and we've certainly seen evidence of that over recent days. And at the moment, it is pretty lively. This is a snapshot at the time of recording. Pretty energetic jet stream there across the UK, taking a low pressure actually up towards Norway. As we run through the next 5 days, well, the broad signal is the jet stream remains reasonably dominant out in the Atlantic, but it's never quite as strong as it is currently, and at times it shows signs of splitting as well. What does that mean at the surface and for our weather? Well, the pressure pattern, certainly for the next few days, will be dominated by low pressure to the north and high pressure near to the south. There's that low that the really active jet stream at the moment is pushing up towards Norway. And then behind that, plenty of isobars on the charts, meaning it's going to stay pretty blustery. And at times, we'll see these weather fronts drifting through, bringing bands of showery rain across the country. But notice here, a little bubble of high pressure, which builds in just in time for the weekend. So for many, this area of high pressure promising a dry day on Saturday. Until then, though, we are going to see a mixture of sunshine and showers with strong blustery westerly winds, which means most of the showers will be in the west. And certainly on Thursday, not many showers at all across the east and the south. And then that little area of high pressure promising to build in to bring many places a fine and dry day as we go through Saturday. So the first half of the weekend looks dry and bright. What about the second half of the weekend? Well, that is open to quite a bit more doubt. That area of high pressure will be slinking off, and then weather fronts and low pressure systems, a couple of them in fact, kind of merging to bring this rather ugly looking weather front our way for Sunday, but some uncertainty about the position and the track and the timing of that weather front. Why the uncertainty? Well, let's rewind the clock and again take a look at what's going on with the jet stream. It's this stage where the jet stream's kind of split into a northern band and a southern band, and we have an area of low pressure that each arm of the jet stream is trying to mix with and trying to generate and push along. Add into the fact that this area of low pressure in particular has got some tropical air mixed in, some warmth in it, and an extra bit of energy, and that just adds to the element of uncertainty and exactly how that will develop, and perhaps push up and join in with the northern jet stream and the northern area of low pressure to combine to make this rather unconvincing looking weather front, which will bring some cloud and rain into the northwest on Sunday. But whether it's in this position or whether it's a little bit further south, well, as I said, that is the big question mark for Sunday. And at the moment, there's a good chance that it will be a little bit further south, as this chart shows. Now, when we look at days 4, 5 ahead, it's often not particularly useful just to look at one computer model run. So what we do is we run the computer models several times, and this is the ECMWF computer model run many times, and each one of these blue lines represents the position of that weather front from each individual run, with this green line being the main run. You can see that that is actually further back compared to where most of the model runs want it to be. And you can just see the UK poking out there, or certainly England and Wales poking out there, suggesting there's a good chance that weather front will actually be a little bit further on and may well be bringing rain further into parts of England and Wales during Sunday, and all that uncertainty born because of the strange nature of the jet stream with that split and that tropical air mixed in as well. So yes, some rain likely to move into the country during the course of Sunday, but if you have plans, keep up to date with the forecast, because the exact timing of that weather front at this stage, 5 days ahead, is still open to a little bit of doubt. What happens beyond that? Well, reasonably happy that weather front at some point during Sunday or Monday will slink its way southwards, and then we're left with a similar weather pattern through next week, with low pressure systems mostly to the north, areas of high pressure to the south, and a reasonably active but not especially strong jet stream pushing everything along. let's take a look at the probabilistic pressure trend for next week. Shown these before on the 10-day trend. The dates going forward along the top. The previous model runs down the side. Again, this is the European model, and we're looking at the colours representing high and low pressure, most likely to be dominant, with red showing high pressure, blue showing low pressure, and green showing neither a strong signal either way. So what we're looking at here is a lot of green as we go through next week, again suggesting that we'll probably be between those lows to the north and the highs to the south. And that is backed up by the zonal probabilistic trend, where we're looking at which wind direction is most likely to be dominant, with blue suggesting westerly winds will be dominant, red would be easterly winds, but there's no red on this chart. It's all blue, suggesting a very strong signal that westerly winds will dominate. And again, that backs up that theory that it'll be low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, generating fairly brisk westerly winds at times. So that's the broad signals we go through next week, but the details, well, for that we'll have to keep up to date day by day. There's always going to be some uncertainty, and these charts really show that differential as we go to the back end of next week. This is showing the potential position for the jet stream from the European model for next Friday. Strongish jet down to the south here, but the previous computer model run actually had, well, a similar kind of pattern, but the jet in a very different position. So just show those contrasts between where the jet could be next Friday. And again, just showing this to really emphasize that difference. But actually, although there's a big difference in these charts, the main weather patterns for next week remain pretty solidly, that we'll see those westerly winds dominating, which will bring lots of showers in from the west, driest weather further east. And with westerly winds bringing the air in off the Atlantic, that will be generally a fairly mild signal for much of next week. So for details for next week, day by day, again, please stay up to date, and also don't forget to stay up to date if you've got those plans for Sunday.